Other interesting business news, you have BYD passing Tesla for the very first time. And BYD is the largest automotive manufacturer in China, as Trump would say. And they had recently beat Tesla overall, but there's a little caveat. BYD makes hybrids as well as EVs. So there's always that thing of, well, are they really beating Tesla? Well, now they are. And this should scare the living bejesus of every automotive manufacturer on the planet, because it's going to pretty much darn near impossible to beat China at a price point. And in terms of replicating and ripping off technology, they're second to none, which is why I suspect so many countries across the globe are going to increase the tariffs exponentially against China automotive manufacturing companies, because I think that's realistically the only way you can possibly save any traditional automotive company. Now, this comes to us thanks to BBC. Here you can see one of their BYD EV SUVs, which at a quick glance looks like the bastardized Buick, which still makes SUVs and still exists somehow. Only partially kidding. Now, this comes to us thanks to Mr. Silva, and he says, quote, China's BYD overtakes Tesla revenue for the very first time. And it is a pretty penny. They say, quote, the Chinese electric vehicle giant BYD has seen its quarterly revenue soar, beating Tesla for the first time. It posted a more than 200 billion yuan, the Chinese money, not your friend Juan, and they'll translate that to US fiat money. That's $28.2 billion, apparently. And that was a revenue from between July and September. That's a 24% jump from the same time period last year, and more than Elon Musk's company, whose quarterly revenue was 25.2 billion. However, Tesla still has more EVs than BYD in the third quarter. It comes as EV sales in China have been getting a boost from government subsidies to encourage customers to trade their petrol-powered cars for EVs or hybrids. Which, yep, all those subsidies, and again, a lot of governments do it. In the US, they're giving away, what, $7,500 in tax subsidies if you buy one of those EVs? Which, maybe one day as I'll get into office, I'll give away $10,000 subsidies if you buy a car with 3 pedals, also known as manual transmission, also known as the best way to drive a car, bar none. Probably crazy. Or maybe I'm just being innovative to save the ICE engine and the 3 pedals. I partially jest. They say, quote, earlier last week, European Union tariffs increased up to 45.3% of imports of Chinese-made EVs came into force across the bloc. Now, Chinese EV makers are already facing 100% tax in the US and Canada, which, again, another thing about politics, where you might not be interested in politics, but it's very much interested in you. Very famous quote. I mean, Trump is estimating, or he's promulgating that he's thinking of maybe doing a 200 as much as 1,000% tax, or tariff rather, on incoming Chinese EVs. Now, they also say the tariffs are responsible to alleged unfair state subsidization of Chinese car industry, which, you can debate how much unfair it is, because again, other countries, including the U.S., also have subsidies for a lot of the U.S., a lot of U.S. manufacturing, especially when the U.S. wants to push them and bully them into doing what they want. They say as of last week, the official data showed 1.57 million applications have been submitted for the nationwide subsidies of $2,800 per each older vehicle traded in for a green one, which, yeah, it's actually less than remember, $7,500 the U.S. government is giving away in taxpayer money. They say, quote, China has been counting on high-tech products to help revive its flagging economy, and the EU is the largest overseas market for the country's electric car industry. Its domestic car industry has grown rapidly over the past 2 decades, and its brands such as BYD have become moving into international markets, prompting fears from the likes of EU, and its own subsidies will be unable to compete with cheaper prices, which, yep, the ineptitudes of the European Union are myriad. And another reason why big government never works. Feel bad for Porsche and Germany, where they're killing the ICE engines there, the great gas-powered vehicles there, which again, they're going to lose to China because you can't beat them on a price point and ripping off technology. So I'm pretty skeptical in terms of anyone trying to put any money into investing in automotive companies these days. Again, not financial advice. But yeah, BYD is going to keep exponentially increasing in size, scale, and capabilities. And depending on how the laws are written and how the tariffs are applied, well, I mean, Trump stopped them from building a huge assembly plant in Mexico, which again, that would supplanted some taxes. But what if they go to another place? Maybe they go to Canada or something like that, or maybe set up an independent subsidiary. It'll be a cat and mouse game for sure. It'll be interesting to see how it works at the end of the day. But again, it's very interesting. I mean, BYD is chooching along, and they finally passed Tesla. I mean, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to keep up this momentum. I really don't see much stopping them, even with some of these tariffs. Because again, China can get that price point down so much, they may even be, even with big tariffs, they might even still be able to be competitive with local domestic manufacturing. So definitely a huge threat for the automotive community. And I mean, these days, fewer and fewer people care about, made in America or made in their home country. I mean, personally, I try to buy American made or make it myself as often as I can. But that's another big sentiment we've seen shift throughout the past decades with automotive manufacturing and automotive companies as well. So I mean, that's all the more reason why BYD is going to be a bigger and bigger threat. But let me know in the comments because, as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.